There are many words that can be used to describe my guest today. Eclectic, creative, trendsetter, multi-talented, fashionable, personable, expressive, daring, and the list goes on and on. He started his television career as a child actor at the age of 11, in a career that has spanned over 2 decades and rolling, over 30 nominations and won 16 awards. Yes, that is who my guest is. My name is Bolanle Babalola, and I'm sure the conversation is going to be hot and spicy today on E Central Exclusive with my guest. Just stay tuned. I feel like I need to do a drum roll on this. Da-da-da-da-da-da! I have none other than Denerele Edun with me.
Yeah! Sorry, I do that all the time.
Why are you like this?
Just to give you some action
Okay,
and some energy,
Hi.
some vibration, some essence, some aura.
Okay.
Take it. You think you can only give me coffee, but I will give you small coffee back. Yeah! Okay, sorry.
Denerele Edun. Ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! I can raise it higher.
How do you come about all this?
This is just an expression of my vivacious personality and an extension of my individuality. Oimbori, I go school.
Mukoshe, I'm learning from him. I'm learning English. This is Julie, please. First of all, let me ask you a question.
Ask away.
You turned 41 this year.
Yes, about to. Well, turned 40 last year.
Yes.
So I'm still in that 40 mindset, but 41 to come. Oh well, 41 sha in 2022.
But you don't look it.
Amen to that. Ageless, timeless, flawless, stainless, spotless. Oof. Fountain of youth.
I tap.
Tap,
I receive.
Tap. Take it.
Please, how do you feel? Tell them. 41.
Okay. I think it was quite a journey to get here. And everyone has said that I've been quite intentional, around this 40th. And it's not like I've been resting on my, chilling and resting on my oars in the previous years. But I don't know, at first I was scared about the 40 because I was not sure. And then I didn't see it coming. I wasn't sure. I didn't know whether to be excited or whether to be worried. I felt like I hadn't done anything yet. And then I felt like at some point I'd, achieved a bit. But then, hey, you know how it is. No one is perfect. But for me, I'm in a good space, good head space, mind space. I have discovered inner happiness. And I'm at a point now where I'm operating on 3 templates. 1, don't waste my time.
Okay.
2, don't lie to me. And 3, don't make me look Fucking stupid. Sorry. Yeah. Pardon my French.
I think that part is what I'm learning from you. Positive vibes only. You don't waste time on negativity. Yeah. I'm telling you, always looking at something good, positive vibes all the time. But really, you know that your combination has an advantage, right?
Of course it does.
So, you grew up a product of 2 cultures.
Yes.
Have you ever felt like torn between both parts? Am I Nigerian?
Bolanle, let me give you my reality check. I want to think that I represent a demographic of those nationality confused individuals that did not have it nice.
Yeah. Okay.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Because, it was almost, you see that I think there are like 3 classes. It's a caste system. So the first caste system, the highly placed, the elitist crowd. The second one is, the very bougie ones. And then the second would maybe the middle, averaged, And then the last, of course, where the last is placed. But you see, when my mom came to Nigeria, my mom is the foreign one. Her dad is Indian, her mom is from Mauritius. And then my parents met in Hamburg, Germany. Now, here's the deal. I will even just give you small tea. So my dad now, growing up in a family house, we grew up in Yaba, Alagomeji. That's always have 2 watches on. Alagomeji, Yabo Ingo, born away. So he grew up on Bonuwe in Alagomeji. Growing up in a family house, his mom passed on while she was building the house. So when she passed on now, my granddad, God bless his soul, took on another wife, who is late now, God bless her soul. And my mom has always wanted me not to talk about her, but whatever. She became the nightmare of the household. So, of course, she didn't have any kids for, my granddad. So she had to take care of, the kids. And my dad was the last. They used to call him bread boy because my dad liked bread. And she just kind of, she was in his way. So my dad just got frustrated and then he just traveled to Hamburg, Germany. Got found visa. That period was quite... He now met my mom. Then during the day, he started working in a bakery. And then before we knew it, he took a crash course and then he started making bread. The same bread boy they used to call him. My dad now
No, but touche bread.
Yeah, proper. My dad can make, he's a confectionerist, he's a patisserie,
wow.
he's a, well, food technologist, if you please. You know, so he could knock up anything with dough, with, you know, whatever. And then he now met my mom. Now, my dad had been engaged before to a German lady, but she was a raving alcoholic. So she rolled down the stairs one day in his apartment, broke her neck, and passed on. So it took him a while. So you see, my dad clocked 80 and I clocked 40. So you can see the gap. Can you see the gap? He's 40. So people will wonder, why did he start late? Well, it's not a generational thing because I'm not starting this. I don't plan. Marriage is not in my cup of coffee for now. But then back to the story. So my dad meets my mom, who is studying computer science, young, you know,
In Germany.
Indian woman, yes, in Hamburg, Germany, very, you know, and then she fell for a Nigerian man. Bam. And then, of course, they had me. And then the moment they had me, there was a bit of a situation. I still don't know why they came back to Nigeria. But my mom said my dad got into a bit of a situation with a German person or something, and they had to leave. If not, they would have been deported. So it was a race to come back quickly to Nigeria. So coming to Nigeria with all our load and everything, you know, my mom, everything, because my mom then was a hot fashionista. She had all the shoes, everything that people are rocking out, clogs and whatnot, she had them all. So when we got to Nigeria, we stayed in my uncle's place in Ilukweju, and this was in a very compact place before my dad got a house in Ijaniki, near Agbara Estate. You know, and then from there it was a massive duplex. Who didn't know us now? We're like the popping family. And then he now invested in a bakery down the road. So
he still went back
he was
to the
in
bread
sync.
business.
But then one day a family member came visiting, and then it was now a reversal of fortunes. I do not believe in village people, but then this really happened because the moment this person came, you know, left, everything just, that bakery was shut down. You know, it burnt or something that happened, something disastrous happened to it. And my mom was a regular housewife. You know, Indian woman, and she was chilling, brushing her hair every morning, traveling here and there. So my mom was stuck. What do I do? So she now started teaching. She took up like a teaching job. I mean, she had this education, she did computer science. So she just thought, okay, let me teach languages, French, German, because my mom she's multilingual. Started, you know, and from then on, we moved from that house, that palatable mansion, into and I'm not kidding here, an uncompleted building. No doors, no windows. It was an abandoned project. We moved in there. Yes, then we moved. I remember clearly. And there was a cassava farm, just a big farm right beside it. So for us to eat morning, noon, night, I would jump the fence or put cassava and we would boil it. We didn't have a stove. It was charcoal and I would fan it every day. I'm telling you. So imagine that life of affluence and then you're projected immediately into not poverty. This was abject poverty. But that's story for another day, yes.
You started off as a child actor,
yes,
right? So along the way, you went on to be like a model,
yes,
a dancer.
You're getting the career
TV
trajectory
host.
well.
Yes. Oh, it's sweet, TV host, red carpet host,
that
MC.
was the last on the ministry, on the career path.
Starting off as a child actor, was this the path you saw yourself?
I didn't even know. I didn't even think it would be anything that I would do, because you see, growing up, you know, my dad had all the records and whatnot. I always thought I would end up being like some sort of music because I liked music. Yes,
it's
and I was
always
enjoying my dad's. You know, I loved ABBA, I loved Boney M. As I said, Harry Belafonte, Jim Reeves, the Gibson Brothers, Gloria Gaynor, Ashla Putley. But Boney M was my fave because there was a guy in Boney M that just used to dance like convulsion and epilepsy was doing him, and I just liked the guy. Google, you should check it. He was hilarious to watch.
Now I see where all your
and you know they sing. His own, he will just be doing brown girl in the ring. The guy will just be going very epileptic. Acting didn't come to me like that. It was just, I think they need to not only rewrite my family history, but to change my narrative. And this was in SS1. This was 1994. I was very aware of the responsibilities that were already thrust upon me and what I was going to face. Because I was the only person in that house. And, you know, because we looked different, myself and my sisters were constantly picked upon every single day. They looked at my sisters, even before my sisters attained, you know, adolescence, and just started calling them prostitutes. Because, you know, I have a younger sister who, the youngest started, you know, growing very quickly. And you know what now? Because we look different, you know, everyone could tell. And then they would call us, you know, we're the poorest set of...
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria,
and they know them.
It was just, I wouldn't call it jealous. I just felt it was just more about, they just needed to frustrate these people. So which is why I would always say that as much as I'm a product of that Ebute Meta place, it not only shaped me, but it needed me to get everyone out of that house and, take them somewhere safe. I knew that responsibility was mine. I knew it. I could feel it already. So that's why I started working at age 11. So already at 11, as I said, I already had it at the back of my mind. Survival instinct. I need to get everybody out of this house. I wrote it one time. I shared it on the gram when my cousins gathered. They fought my mom and I told them off. They now carry those masquerade whips, like 8 girls, and they flogged me in front of the house. People, you see, if you want to get this gist, the neighbors in the compound will say, hey, that's my mom is Anita. If you Jenny, they flogged. And the reason why I couldn't fight back was because I knew that if I fought back, I would injure someone. I knew that we would all leave that house. Where would we go to? My dad wasn't working at that point. He had lost his job. My mom was, teaching in a primary school, doing private lessons. Where we won't go. So I just had to chest it in. And, but I learned the art of self-defense. And it was not my sisters, and that's how I had to deal with them. Don't worry. You see my immediate sister, Igboru Mosdaru, street credibility.
Okay.
She beat one of my cousins one day and I was ailing her from the back.
At this age and time where a lot of people thrive on bullying people and saying insensitive things to people, how do you cope? How do you...
I was
keep that
called
positive
everything
mindset?
growing up. And I mean from secondary school. I had friends that, lived across. So anytime I crossed the road, I'll go and say hi to my friends. And they had a big snooker table. They had like a pool board in their compound. So they had like older cousins that were in university. They'll come and play with all their friends. And I remembered 2 brothers. I remember them well, James and Micah. And they called me. Yes, I will say their name. Yes, because I'm not calling their surname, by the way. But they would always come to that house and they always called me lesbian. I didn't even know what lesbian was. I didn't know what it meant. So every time they'll just come, get this your lesbian friend out of here, Joe. So I would just have to move, I respect myself, so I'll just move. And then they would come every time, and then I would even be maybe walking on the road on my own, and they would just start insulting me from across. Yeah. Then there was a time they even came and shoved me into the gutter. And this was like a gutter filled with water. I fell in. They were just, so it wasn't even aggressiveness. It was more, I got a lot of verbal assaults. And aside that now, I am talking of a close-knit, then let's not even get to the church. Because in church, they excommunicated me from church. They just told me one day, Mama, see church anymore. Don't come to this church. Then I remember times when my grandma's family would come from Port Harcourt, wherever, they come and start crying. You think someone has died in the house? So why are they crying? They say, they're really think Yahweh. Then they'll call my dad, Alaba, kilo and shit. And then they'll say, look, it's because their mother abandoned them. And they always reminded myself and my sisters every time that our mother abandoned us.
How did you cope with all this controversy on your sexuality?
So it's been all kinds. Growing up, I got it hot. And remember, like I said, back then, it was way before the advent of the internet or social media. So now we have faceless identities typing on a keypad and saying all kinds of things. My own was upfront confrontation. I'll be walking on, they will jack me like this. Why are you dressed like this? Okay. Or if I board the bus, usually I'm coming to the island. I live in Yaba. I'll have to board Obalende from Obalende. Then you take a hotel VI. That Obalende bus every time that I will board. Voila. Once I enter, all the passengers will run out. Where is it? The conductor will start fighting me. There was a time that a driver stopped midway on Third Mainland Bridge and told me to come down.